Hi, I'm Ricka from rickabrandon.com, and today we're going to talk about, is it you or is it me? How to know whose fault it actually is when an employee is underperforming. And this is a topic near and dear to my heart because when I had a lot of employees and a lot of them were underperforming, I was also really deep into my self-help improvement and figuring out every way I could improve myself. And so I found 1,000 ways that it was my fault. I hadn't given them the most expensive training. I hadn't had a dedicated training person, for my team of 10 and different things like that, where I made everything about how I was failing them, not that they weren't doing the job. And so it was exhausting. It was super exhausting, actually. And I want to stop other entrepreneurs from going through that. So one of the ways that you can really get clear about is it them or is it you is, did you set clear expectations? Like, do they know what they're supposed to be doing day in and day out? And that doesn't just mean increase sales by 10%. That means what are the activities, how many phone calls, how many appointments, whatever it is they need to do on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. Did you tell them that so they know what they need to do to be successful? And if you haven't done that, you need to do it now. That is the number one reason that people underperform, is that their boss or manager never actually communicated the expectations. Flat out right there. That solves 80% of the problems people have by actually clearly articulating activity expectations. Now, don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean everybody's going to hit those activity expectations, but now you know, okay, they don't even care enough to hit the activity expectations, or if they're hitting the activity expectations and still not getting the results, then it's maybe how they're actually doing the work. So you know where to start to coach and improve them. So step one, did you set clear activity expectations? Step two is, are you asking if they need support? Are you talking to them about the lack of performance? And if you don't have expectations set, this could be a little bit awkward. So you might need to wait to have this conversation until you've set some expectations, and then you can address the lack of hitting them. Or, hopefully just start off, work with them, build expectations out together. But that is really the number one way that you can decide if it's you or it's them. If you have clear expectations and the person's not meeting them, they're making a choice not to meet them. And, part of this is if your expectations are completely unreasonable, like 112 calls a day, that you would want to give them the space to tell you that. But I'm going to assume that you're creating reasonable goals that they could achieve, and they're choosing not to. Well, that's a very conscious choice on someone's part not to do what is required of them for their job. I don't think that we need to keep people like that on our team. They can go work for somebody else, ideally a big company that can afford to float people who aren't going to do what's needed for the business to succeed. So I hope this helps. The number one thing is to set and communicate expectations. If you need help with this or you're feeling stuck, you should check out my Clarity and Reality course. It's all about creating job descriptions, setting expectations, and being able to communicate them so you get the best results from your employees.